One thing you'll notice by glancing through my channel is that I'm very lazy and inconsistent with uploads. Today we're looking at Dawn of the Devs, a Kickstarter game starring not Hideo Kojima, not Cliff Bleszinski, and not Tim Schafer. Helmed by Underdog Studios, the project page reads as follows. Dawn of the Devs is a 2D puzzle platformer where three game industry gurus, Tom Schiffer, Cliff Bleszinski, and Hiro Kamia, embark on an epic quest after they are drawn into the wicked world of gaming, an alternate world where every negative aspect of the game industry has come to life thanks to the dark arts of a sinister character. In Dawn of the Devs, you play as Tom Schiffer, who leans into the point-and-click part of Schafer's career by giving him a cursor to interact with the world and a bottomless inventory to throw all your items in. Then we have Cliff Bleszinski, armed with a gun that can make enemies die faster than lawbreakers in radical heights. He's got a Tears of War-esque Lancer chainsaw on his gun so he can cut through obstacles, because Schiffer can't have all the fun. Last and definitely least, we have Hiro Kamia, who can move around in a cardboard box and knock on his cardboard box to distract enemies. I can't help but feel like Kamia and Biff are kind of one note. Like the team was like, Kojima did the box game and Bleszinski did the chainsaw gun game. Schiffer seems to have had the most research put into his character, but I guess if you absolutely had to have three playable characters, someone is going to have the short end of the skill stick. The story is pretty simple. The three main devs get isekai'd into the wicked world of gaming while attending a game event, and they have to use their game abilities to stop the Chief Evil Overlord, or CEO. The game is split up into 5 main sections: the Console and Computer Church, which is an obvious nod to E3. There's also the Game Yard, where failed projects and dead game companies go. Look, Dawn of the Devs is in the Game Yard too. I found it sandwiched between lawbreakers and radical heights while I was on my way to put flowers on Scalebound's grave. There's the Pirate Harbor, which is a den of villainy filled with copyrights. There's also the Ivory Tower, which says it's under siege by the copyrights, so either this copyright idea was too great and cool and funny to only get one level, or the enemy variety is as hastily thrown together as Radical Heights was. Last but not least, we have the Crunch Time Factory, which is a problem that has been amplified tenfold since this project was conceived. The trailer they made for the Kickstarter shows off some of the enemies, such as the copyrights we talked about already, troll faces, and Metacritic cultists. If they released the game today, the enemies would probably be predatory loot boxes, early access elites, and, predatory Blizzard executives. The page talks about wanting to make this game a love letter to the guys who made some of their favorite games and inspired them to get into the industry. Here they are now. Hey, I know that guy. They said they wanted the game to be filled with lots of humor and irony, hence all the digs at gaming culture throughout the page thus far. The stretch goals were pretty vanilla, just copies of the game, soundtrack, arts, shirts, and whatnot. $250 lets you get your portrait in the game, $500 lets you design an enemy, $1,000 lets you design a boss, and $5,000 got you free copies of every Underdog Studio games for life, such as, oh boy. The stretch goals would add 3 new playable characters: Nick Gable, the guy who can't count to 3, Shiro Miyata, aka Bowser Jr.'s mother, and Milo Devereaux, who's supposed to be Peter Molyneux. Nick Gable's art has him with a crowbar, but they have a ton of Valve hits to choose from, so I figure he has no shortage of abilities they could give him. The same with Miyata, who they could pump up with obvious Mario and Zelda abilities. I'm scratching my head as to what Milo Devereaux could bring to the table. Maybe they could implement a morality system in the game that doesn't actually matter at all, even a little bit, or maybe his ability could be to overpromise to the enemies and make them so disappointed with his games that they just kill themselves, instead of having Biff do it. Kill the enemies, that is, not making disappointing games, but he does that too. The only solace I take in this game featuring Peter Molyneux in any capacity is that this world has to have its own Guru Larry waiting to knock him down a peg or two.
Hello, you. I'm Tutor Larry, and I welcome you to Trivia Track. Top 5 times Milo Devereaux overpromised and underdelivered.
The next goal after the characters is special costumes based off of Gears, Brutal Legend, and Metal Gear Solid. Following that would be console versions, voice acting, and animated cutscenes with a promise of more goals coming soon.
More goals did not come soon.
The pair working on the game were Alfredo Gonzalez Barros and Alvaro Gonzalez, 2 devs with over 10 years in the game industry. They said they were hoping to make small but highly entertaining games, and Dawn of the Devs seems to fit that criteria. I messaged the team to see if I could ask them about the project, to see if I could figure out where they went from Dawn of the Devs, and to see if any of the game creators in the project ever reached out to them about the project, but they never got back to me. Googling the creators, I found a little number called Out of the Blue Games, which has a certain Alfredo Gonzalez Barros on the team, the same one from Underdog Studios. He and his team went on to make Call of the Sea, which is a 3D puzzle game with no signs of Cliffy Bleszinski in it at all. Call of the Sea has very positive reviews and looks pretty cool in my opinion. Their next game, American Arcadia, was just announced in April and had its trailer shown off in the Summer Games Fest just recently. The project didn't meet its funding goal, but from the ashes of Underdog Studios was born Out of the Blue Games. A lot of Kickstarter projects that don't get funded tend to fizzle out, and while we didn't get Dawn, it's awesome to see its creators go on to thrive in the games industry. The Kickstarter for Dawn of the Devs may not have met its goal, but the team's most recent game is still able to be bought on Steam, which is more than I can say for Cliffy B.